The Republican Party's anti-LGBTQ agenda isn't confined to state legislatures. It's also spread to libraries across America. According to the latest annual report on book bans from the American Library Association, more than half of 2022's most targeted books include LGBTQ themes. Despite those attempts, my next guest's new young adult book isn't shying away from taking on what some Republicans might consider controversial subject matter. Joining me now is New York Times bestselling author Chasten Buttigieg. His new book, I Have Something to Tell You for Young Adults, goes on sale on May 16th. Chasten, welcome back to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. So this is a complete rewrite of your memoir that we talked about. What was it? It was during the pandemic. It was like in the before time, 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
This time you've rewritten it specifically for young readers growing up in rural and conservative America. Why did you decide to do it this way?
Yeah, well, certainly when I started working on it 2 years ago, I did not think that it would be coming out amidst all of this, you know. I wanted to write a book that I wish I would have had when I was in middle school, but I also wanted to write a book that I wish my teachers and my parents could have read when I was in middle school, about how much pain I was going through, about that journey into self-discovery and coming to terms with your identity, especially in a country which makes you feel like you are less than, or you are unwanted or unloved. And so I certainly hope that this book will do some good. I don't think that it would be banned because it's completely age appropriate, but I definitely want to make sure that it gets in the hands of people who could benefit from a story where somebody believed those people, something about you is twisted and wrong and broken, to discovering actually that doesn't define me. The opinions of the people around me don't define me, and I can lean into my uniqueness and difference and make a difference by doing so.
Was it a different experience writing this version of I Have Something to Tell You than the original?
Yeah, well, like I said, this is the one I wish I would have had when I was in middle school. And going through some of that trauma and those dark areas in your life.
And going through it again.
Yeah. You know, some days I just shut the laptop and was like, I don't want to deal with that today. But I knew that it could do some good by sharing those vulnerable stories, especially with younger people, you know, teenagers who could benefit from that story where someone says, yes, it was hard. Yes, it can be hard. And it might be difficult and heartbreaking, but it does get better. I promise it gets better.
So you're on your book tour. You're traveling all over the place, particularly to states where there are anti-LGBTQ laws, proposed legislation, book bans. We're talking Utah, Florida, Texas, Missouri. Why is it important for you to share your story in those particular states?
Well, I really want to go to places that are, you know, often overlooked. It certainly would have meant a lot to me as a young person if someone came through town and shared this kind of story. And when we were planning the book tour, I said, you know, we can hit the big markets, but I really want to go to places where this could benefit young people. I just wish I could go to more places. But, you know, I got kids back home. But what it would have meant to sit in a room and have somebody say, I know what it's like. I know what that pain feels like, but I'm here to tell you that it will get better. And here's how. And here's how your teachers and your parents can make it better, too.
So you're a former teacher.
Yep.
What would you say to teachers, the current teachers, who feel the brunt of all these things, feel the pressure, feel caught in the middle of what we broadly call culture wars?
Well, to the teachers, I would say I completely empathize with you, and I'm sorry. You know, I think what I would really love to say is to the legislators and the people who are making these book bans such a big issue in their communities is to stop and to focus on real issues. You know, when I was teaching in South Bend and Chicago, there were often times where we would have to print out our handouts on goldenrod or pink paper because we would just run out of white paper for a month, you know? The heat would stop working, the kids weren't getting nutritious meals, students really needed mental health support services. These are real issues facing American education, and if we really want to improve education, we should start focusing on the things that teachers have been crying out for forever.
Right.
But instead, they're focusing on book bans because it's easy, gets people fired up, you know, and it doesn't require much work. You can just go into your city council meeting or your school board meeting and, you know, share this opinion and get people riled up, and people make a lot of money off of that. They fundraise off of it. But from all the teachers I know, the schools that I've taught in, we don't need anyone to come in and tell us what books we should or should not be teaching. We need wraparound services for our kids. We need to make sure that they're getting a good meal when they come to school. And there are a million other things that teachers need help with right now.
I just spoke with Montana State Representative Zoe Zephyr about what's happening in Montana. What's your message to lawmakers like her fighting for trans rights in state legislatures?
I mean, she did an incredible thing. And the thing about the reaction from her colleagues on the other side of the aisle is if somebody tells you that there are dire consequences for young people should you vote a certain way, if your reaction is to censure that person and not maybe pause and listen and learn, something's wrong with your politics. She said, I'm not being hyperbolic. This is what the data shows. And I think a lot of people, especially on the other side of the aisle, need to roll up their sleeves, sit down, take a breath, and start listening to the people who are telling you that young people are at such an increased chance of taking their life in this country, especially LGBTQ people. Can we please focus on making their lives easier and not harder?
We have less than a minute left, but as you're on your book tour for the young adults version of your book, what are you hearing from people?
People just want to belong. People want to know that they belong and that people in power are fighting for them. People are going to work in D.C. or at the State House focused on making their lives better. And right now, I think you see young people fired up across this country, determined to make things better and not worse, because some of the adults in the room aren't doing that. And I think young people are ready to step up and change course.